They've been featured in all of these publications. They have a AAA rating at the Better Business Bureau. And what I love are stories. So how this company actually came about was out of a need, and it was not out of greed. So this is actually a real photo of before the company came about, but this is the scenario that brought it into existence. So the founder, Harlan Stonecipher, he found himself in a car accident, and it wasn't his fault. It was not his fault, an accident, but he found himself in a lawsuit with the other driver. And so this is a very responsible person. He had life insurance, car insurance, health insurance, all the insurances they tell us to have. But he realized there was a big gap. And they actually had something like a legal type of insurance over in Europe. He'd seen it before. But what is it about the United States? We're kind of the last, to do some things. And so he decided out of this to make access to justice equal for everyone. But why do we not get access to attorneys? I'll tell you, for me, cost. Who knows? Put in the chat how much it typically costs to just retain an attorney or to get someone to talk to you. Let me know any experiences you have with that. Let me know what the retainer was and what hourly fees are. I'll tell you, for me personally, about 5 years ago, I went through an unexpected divorce. It was one that I didn't want to go through. So, of course, it was uncontested. And I found myself a couple months later, $15,000 later, every time an email was sent, anytime we were sitting in his office and he's telling me all of these stories about his life, it is cha-ching, 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 more and more and more bills. And so it's exhausting. So what happens is people are priced out of the legal system. But here's what I thought was, why on earth, other than these big, crazy life events, why would I need just an attorney on speed dial? That seems a little excessive, but here's why you think that. Here's why I think that. It just never was a possibility in my mind. So all the things I could have used it for never even entered my mind. So here's the thing that Legal Shield helps with literally, guys, as little as $30 to $40 per month. And I want you to keep in mind all of the retainer fees you guys have put in here and all of the hourly fees for the exact same stuff you're going to get. Okay. So you're going to get unlimited consultations. You can talk to them about anything, everything, any area of the law. I'll tell you, I have been able to resolve many, many things just being able to talk through with something. You are not speaking to ChatGPT that's going to tell you one thing and another thing. You're going to be talking to someone that actually understands the laws of your area. And if you've ever wondered what your rights were and you just didn't know, that's what you're going to do. And that's the thing, you guys, is we don't often know what they are. And if you don't know what they are, you have no rights. So I'm going to be telling you a few stories as you're looking kind of through some of these and be thinking about some of these scenarios. So the number one thing they're going to help with, I encourage everyone as soon as they get their membership, is if you are 80% of the population, you don't have a will in place. If you're in Texas like me, you do not want to deal with probate, any type of issues. If you have minor children, you don't want the state deciding what happens to your stuff or, God forbid, your children. So this is when you need to be a responsible adult, get it in place. But we always kick the can on this stuff. Why? Because nobody wants to think about that stuff. Number one, I was talking to an 84-year-old man about this week, and he goes, yeah, nobody thinks about that. He's like, because nobody actually thinks about dying. Guess what? He had everything in place because he was 84, right? But who knows, at any given time, that could be us. And we don't want to leave those we love to deal with that kind of stuff. So power of attorneys, physician's directives, we all need to have these things laid out in our lives. Flight cancellations or delays, even something small, someone runs into your car or your mailbox. You know what? If I could find out who did that with my mailbox, I would be getting a letter out to my attorney, because you should see my mailbox right now. It is bad. Grandma going into assisted living, divorce, anything you would need an attorney for, possibly HOA issues. This is notorious. I know people in Florida right now that are having a really hard time with it and are able to just contact their attorney to help with that. Have you guys ever signed a document that you didn't understand, or read some verbiage and you're like, this makes no sense to me, but you don't want to look stupid, so you sign it anyway? Have you ever gotten a traffic ticket? Nobody wants to deal with those type of things going up on your insurance. And even things that are trivial things, right? Even just consumer rights things, or just basic, adoptions, or it doesn't even have to be something where you are done wrong. And one piece I love that comes with the membership, I tell people about all the time, is the 24/7 emergency button. You can find yourself in the wrong place at the wrong time. And what do they tell you? You can't call mom or dad or the church or your husband or your wife. What do they say? You have the right to an attorney. And the amazing stats just for this button alone that you have on the bottom of your app, they will answer the phone within seconds and you have someone on the line. There's many stories we have of teenagers, guys, because this covers your entire family. This will cover you, your spouse, or your significant other, boyfriend, girlfriend, and your kids that are 26 years old and younger. So if they're out driving, guys, they need to have this app on their phone. You don't want them getting speeding tickets and raising your insurance. And you also don't want them in a situation where they don't have access. So you're giving them that type of access, and that is all in your membership. Can you imagine, you guys, you, your spouse, and your adult children having that type of access, like what would that cost for all of those things? For me, like with a monthly cost on those things, I'm thinking what would be more than reasonable would be several $100s a month to have that. And it's literally $40 a month. It's crazy. Now, we want to be transparent with this stuff. They can help with everything. I'll tell you, I have had about a dozen things I have tapped my app for, gotten help with. I have I've got issues, with family members, different things, and just having the peace of mind, the emotional disconnect I can have and not let it stress out my day because I have this access. But say, I'll give you an example. Okay, so I have a difficult ex that doesn't like to pay things that he's supposed to pay, right? So I just simply tap my app and I talk to the family law attorney. He's incredibly patient. I love him. He calls me back and gives me a response within 4 to 8 hours. Here, guys, you will actually have an attorney that will track you down until you answer your phone instead of vice versa, where you can't get somebody on the phone or they won't talk to you because what you have, going on maybe isn't going to be the hours that they're going to want to put in because they want to make, plenty of money. So what we did in this scenario was I got a consult first. I talked to him about my situation and I was like, hey, here's what's happening. So he advised me on exactly what to do, how to send the emails, how to word it exactly so I can make sure that I have everything set in place. Okay, well, I did that. And he's like, all right, so next we're going to send him a letter. I'm like, cool. All I needed to do was send over the address and upload the documents that I needed. And they sent out a certified letter that went straight to the house. And it has a deadline that if he doesn't take care of that by a certain date, then we're going to take further action. Okay, then it's going to fall into this if we need to modify something in court. I'll tell you, the majority of a lot of things can be handled by a letter in the mail with an attorney letterhead on top. Okay, I'll tell you a situation that happened with one of my dear friends here in my town. She bought a car. And about a year and a half ago, she went to trade it in this year. She found out through the trade-in people that they had rolled the mileage 100,000 miles. She'd been driving a car that had almost 400,000 miles on it. So, of course, they were going to give her $0 for this car. I need to know what that was, Michaela, because that's pretty dang awesome. It drove that far. But here's what happened. So she calls the dealership. You did me wrong. What the heck? She's just a sweet mama that's trying to take care of her family, and she got taken advantage of, which happens a lot with everyone, but particularly women and in those type of situations, right? Of course, they laughed it off and they were going to help her with anything. So she decided to pull out her Legal Shield app like she is now used to doing for anything. And they sent a letter to the auto shop or the car dealership she bought it from. Within a week, she had every penny refunded to her for that car. And she's driving a nice car that doesn't have the miles rolled back on it. So it's leveling the playing field for everyone. And it didn't cost her a dime past her $40 a month, which is incredible, you guys. And so back what I was saying, if anything falls into additional services, so say with my scenario, we've got to move forward with modifying, we've got to go to court, we've got to, do these things. It's already laid out in how I sent the emails. It's already laid out how I sent the letter that any extra attorney fees would be attributed to him because I had direction the entire time. I'm not just dealing with my stuff blindly. So guess what? I've got peace of mind dealing with a $3,000 issue and knowing that I'm not going to incur any additional cost. Consumer rights issues are a really big deal, you guys. Have you ever had someone that wouldn't pay a warranty like they wanted to? We've got a big furniture store that's local here. Everybody here knows the name of it. It's huge. And they were not wanting to make right on a warranty that they had for a mattress. And just simply getting guidance from an attorney when they were trying to get around wording in a warranty, they were able to get a brand new $6,000 mattress, actually upgraded, sent to them, and it would not have happened. And this is someone who's a real estate agent that actually got it to share with her clients so they would be protected prior and after closing, which is a whole other thing. But then she also used it for her own consumer things. So if any of these scenarios are you, just let me know in the chat. There's no judgment here. If you ever, all these things, received a traffic ticket, had a landlord dispute or a rental issue. We've had several where they move out, right? And then they don't want to give you the security deposit back, even though you left it better than you found it. Been threatened with a lawsuit or collections. I had this. I have great credit, but I was threatened with the collections and I didn't know if it was real or not. And I was able to save $250 because I had an attorney look over the documents. Have you ever just needed advice, but you didn't want to pay $300 an hour just to ask a question? Here's a big one. Have you started a small business and wondered if you were protected properly? I go to a lot of business owner meetings and they're really good at their craft and their job, that they have no idea how to structure things legally. And that's a big issue in being able to operate your business. Have you ever had a contractor not finish a job after you paid them? Or vice versa. Maybe you are a contractor and you did all the work and your client decided that they weren't going to pay you, right? You don't need to be dealing any of that. So if you've answered yes to any of these, Imagine having an attorney on speed dial. So here's what the app looks like. It's actually purple right here. But here's what it would look like. You download it on your phone. As soon as you get the membership, you can request a consult right away. I recommend scrolling down a little bit, immediately getting your will done because you are literally saving $1,000 by having them do that for you right away. There's a commercial driver's plan. If there's anybody you know who's a CDL driver or you are one, this is an absolute must. Legal Shield actually began as a commercial driver plan, and this is the reason why I'm here today. My husband has been a CDL driver for about 15 years, and he had the CDL plan offered as an employee benefit. And he just opted in because it was paid for by his employer. That's a pretty cool thing we're going to talk about later, because that's the piece that a lot of people get into when they want to sell legal plans, things like that. You can do it as an employee benefit at no cost to the owner unless they want to. There's also a gun owner policy, which is very important with a lot of gun rights and laws that are changing. This is like a $15 add-on. If there's something, there's a lot of stuff happens all the time with Texas, stuff that is self-defense. But as things are getting really, really like gray areas, you need to have protection here. And then this one right here, a huge piece of Legal Shield is the small business plans. There's 3 different tiers of these. And if you have a small business and you want to see these, you'll look at it and you'll about fall out of your chair because you will realize what all was available to you for as little as $50 a month with all the things that they can help you with. And there's over 140,000 businesses that are protected. So that's a huge thing. All right. So there's only one other service we offer here, and it is ID Shield. So who in the chat has ever dealt with any type of identity theft? Someone decided they were going to try to be you, or maybe you got scammed in something, you got locked out of something. Maybe something really bad happened and my heart goes out to you. I hate that. And the sad part is you're not alone. I speak to people daily, and it was either them or they knew someone that has dealt with identity theft. Okay. But let me tell you what all you get when you bundle your ID Shield with Legal Shield is you get all of these things in this app that it is the only one of its kind. It's the first of its kind, and it is the only one that has what I call all the bells and whistles. It will monitor your credit score in real time. All 3 bureau monitoring and alerts. You get a VPN that usually costs $20 a month if you get that on your own, and it will secure your Wi-Fi. So a big thing, you guys, is if you are in Starbucks, you're in a hotel, you're enjoying the free Wi-Fi, you're not in a secure secure spot anymore. And so that's when hackers get in, get your stuff. It's usually when you've been somewhere outside your Wi-Fi. And it's just so much easier now with AI and all of this stuff. And it is very difficult to prove that you are actually you. Like it's getting kind of terrifying. But here's some cool things is think about ID Shield as it's the fire alarm that goes off when there's a fire, but then you also have the firefighters that come out to help you put out the fire. That is your 24/7 ID theft specialist for emergencies, and you're getting full service restoration by private investigators. Guys, these would usually cost several $100s an hour, and you're getting this for so dang dirt cheap. Huge thing. When you have this, you can get it for your family, and it will cover 10 different devices. So my children are teenagers. And so a huge deal, I'm going to go to this next one, is your kids are at risk. So there is huge data that's been coming out recently about how much identity theft is happening with just kids and minors. And so look at these stats. So there was over 1 million identity theft reports in 2024 alone. 1 in 50 kids experience identity theft every year. Over 1 million kids are affected every year. And nearly half it happens under the age of 9. So here's what I love about this. I clicked on my ID Shield app, and all you do, guys, I just uploaded my children's social security information on there. It is monitored. Why is this such a big deal to me? I was a victim of this. So when I was 17, my social security number was used to purchase a house in California. I'm from Texas. It did not show up on my credit report until I was in my 30s refinancing 2 properties. It could have been a very, very bad situation. And the majority of identity theft issues require an attorney. So it just makes sense to bundle it together. And most of them end up being hundreds, if not thousands of dollars to resolve. And God forbid if something does happen, because there's all kinds of it. There's medical bill theft. There is tax. Good luck dealing with the IRS when someone is with your identity and then they get your tax refund. And then you're like, wait, that wasn't me. And this is not to scare anybody. This is just real life. So just simply protect yourself, because it's not a matter of if, it's just a matter of when. And one thing I really love about it too, that not a lot of people talk about on ID Shield, is the extra things it does. It will block your spam callers. Just put your number in it. It will put you on a do not call list. And it will monitor sex offenders in your area. So in real time. So we had someone that purchased ID Shield as an employee benefit, which is incredible. And she downloaded the app. And so she was with the presenter and she said, how how current is this? Because she had just downloaded it. And he said, well, it's in real time. It's now. She immediately got up off the table, went to HR and reported, because there were 3 people that she was working with that were on that list. And they were about to have a family picnic the next week with children. And 2 of them, it was children. So again, you cannot be too careful. And I would rather have these things give me alerts. And it's absolutely, I'm to the point now where I'm like, it is crazy not to have. You can get an individual ID Shield plan for $15. I know you guys have apps on your phone or some type of subscription that is more than that. And it is not going to protect you in any way like this will. You can get a family plan, all the bells and whistles for literally $1 a day, 100% worth it. Okay, so we're through the plans. One thing that every Legal Shield member gets is something called member perks. I love this because I love shopping. And I love doing things. And so I've been redoing my house lately. And so every single time I go to order something online, I open up my Member Perks app, because what Legal Shield has done is they have developed relationships with over 400 different businesses and companies, and ones that are very common, not just like weird ones that you never use, right? Six Flags, I need to remember that one because I'm near Arlington. You can go on there, go shop like normal, and you're going to get exclusive discounts that they have worked with all of these locations. The average savings, people that uses their perks, is $2,000 a year. It pays for both your Legal Shield and your ID Shield membership. So it's literally